Hey everyone, today I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new Mutant Mayhem Leonardo single card action figure from Playmates Toys, which is part of their toy releases tying into the upcoming animated movie of the same name. Now, Playmates have a long history with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that goes right back to 1988 when they released their initial lineup of 10 figures comprised of Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, Splinter, April O'Neil, Shredder, Bebop, Rocksteady and a Foot Soldier. And now that legacy continues with a brand new lineup of toy releases based on the characters as they appear in the upcoming Mutant Mayhem animated movie, which releases in cinemas worldwide on August 2nd. So to kick us off, let's dive in and have a look at the packaging for this figure, beginning with the plastic bubble, as it's nice and clear and gives us a good look at the figure and the accessories included. Accessories that will look very familiar to anyone who grew up with the original Playmates releases or who has seen or picked up the re-releases of those original figures over the last 14 years. Then, moving down the bubble, we have this cardboard insert with Leonardo's name, followed by the subtitle of The Leader, referencing Leo's traditional role as leader of the group. And switching then to the back of the card, we can see that the purple, green, yellow and orange colour scheme from the front of the card is continued on the back of the card as well. And this is a colour scheme and a design that Playmates are using for all of their Mutant Mayhem toy releases, while the card back itself is made from a solid and sturdy cardboard that holds its shape well and shouldn't warp easily. Then, moving back to the front of the card, we can see that it features a sewer diorama design featuring purple bricks covered in slime alongside various graffiti and stickers, presumably put there by the Turtles, with the graffiti in a fun bit of design also being used to show Leo's name above his portrait on the left side of the card. And in the top left corner of the card we have the Mutant Mayhem logo with the Nickelodeon logo over on the top right corner of the card. And then if we go to the back of the card again, we have the Mutant Mayhem and Nickelodeon logos, along with a continuation of the sewer tunnel design from the front of the card, along with a little blurb for the movie story below its logo, followed by the cross-sell for the rest of this first wave. But instead of the usual photographs of the rest of the figures and vehicles in the line that we would normally see in a cross-sell, we instead have the movie promo art for each character. And then at the bottom left of the card, and another really nice nod to the original toy releases, we have a clip and collect character card for Leonardo, followed by links for both the official Playmates website and the official Mutant Mayhem movie website, along with the Nickelodeon, Paramount and Playmates company logos, as well as a link to the official TMNT YouTube page. But that isn't all that's on the card, as once you've removed the figure bubble, you can then see on the front of the card the rest of the sewer art, showing a hole in the sewer wall leading to another tunnel, with this tunnel coloured entirely in a warm yellow. So now that we've checked out the card, let's check out the figure itself, and right away this is a great looking figure, as it strikes a really nice balance between replicating the movie's design without being completely slavish to it, giving us a figure that is recognisably Leo from Mutant Mayhem, but that would also look great alongside any other Playmates TMNT figures that you have. Then in terms of design, Leo here is painted in a lighter, kind of a lime green colour, with his bandana, arm and knee bands painted in what looks to be shades of an azure blue, with his shell then moulded in what looks to be a mahogany brown coloured plastic, while his weapons belt is moulded in a black plastic that has his initial painted in a kind of a greenish yellow, with his buckle and shurikens then painted silver. The figure itself is moulded in a solid, lightweight plastic that has a good balance for posing and should make him fairly resilient to bashes and falls, although there is a danger of breakage should he fall from, say, a high shelf or cabinet. The figure's joints are solid, but be warned that they could easily be broken if too much force is applied to them especially if you're trying to bend them past their limits. However, overall, in terms of construction, he is a really solidly built figure. Moving then to articulation, we get the second most articulation that I've seen on a basic TMNT release from Playmates, as we have a ball jointed head that allows the figure's head to tilt forwards, backwards and swivel around. We then have a hinge swivel joint at the shoulders, which allows the arms to be hinged upwards and downwards, as well as swiveled slightly, as unfortunately the movement is restricted by his shell. We then also have another hinge swivel at the elbows, which allows these to be hinged upwards and downwards, as well as swiveled side to side. Whereas then the articulation of the wrists sadly is limited just to a swivel. The torso then is a solid sculpt, so we've no ab crunch or waist swivel, but to be fair, this is pretty standard for most basic figure releases. Then at the top of the legs we have swivel and hinge joints as well, although because of the placement of the hinge at the front of the figure's legs rather than at the side, it means that you can hinge the legs forwards and backwards, but like the shoulders, this movement is restricted by the front and back of Leo's shell, and with this hinge placement as well, it means that the legs can't be hinged outwards or inwards without first swiveling them, so that the leg hinge is then facing away from the figure, as once you swivel the leg around, then the leg can be hinged outwards and inwards. Then moving down from the top of the leg to the knees, we have another swivel hinge that allows the knees to be bent and straightened out, as well as swiveled from side to side. And then finally, taking a look at the ankles, these, like the wrists, are only articulated with a swivel joint. Okay, so next let's take a look at the included accessories, beginning with Leo's katanas, as in Mutant Mayhem, Leo uses dual katanas rather than his traditional ninjato blades, and both katanas are molded in a soft, pliable plastic that thankfully isn't too pliable, as they do still have some rigidity to them. And then, in another fun nod to the original Playmates TMNT releases, we also have a weapon sprue containing extra weapons and accessories, but in a great update to the concept, this weapon sprue also functions as a working weapons rack as well, which I think is a great idea, as it gives us collectors the choice of either displaying these additional weapons and accessories as they are in the sprue, or they can be removed from the sprue and stored on the rack as a display piece. Then, taking a look at the sprue here, it also includes several additional weapons for Leo, as we have 3 kunai, a shuriken and a dagger, along with a slice of pizza and a mutagen ooze canister. And the kunai, shuriken, pizza slice, ooze canister and weapons rack are all molded in a solid rigid grey plastic, while the dagger hilt is molded in the same grey plastic, but the blade of the dagger is molded in a more pliable form of that plastic. With the final extra then coming with this Mutant Mayhem Leo figure is a little baby turtle, presumably a baby Leo figure, and this is a solid little piece with no articulation that's molded in the same light green plastic as the main Leo figure. Alright, so now that I've had a look at this new Leo figure, his packaging and accessories, it's time to give my marks for each, starting with the packaging. And with the packaging, I'm going to be judging it based on the information it provides, its aesthetics and design, and the packaging quality, finishing with a mark out of 10 for each one of these categories. So, beginning with the information provided, I'm giving a 10 out of 10, as everything you need to know is right there on the front and back of the packaging. Then, for the aesthetics and design, I'm going to give the packaging an 8 out of 10, as I love the colours, I love the sear tunnel design, the graffiti on the bricks and the file card, but I'm docking the 2 points as I don't like that the cross-sell uses the movie promo art instead of photos of the actual figures in the wave, especially when this promo art is already used for the file card, as the whole point of a cross-sell, as the name implies, is that it's showing you the other releases in this and past waves. Then finally, for the packaging quality, I'm giving a 10 out of 10, as the card back is sturdy, the plastic bubble is firmly attached, and it gives a really good clear view of the figure and all the accessories. Now, moving on to the figure, I'm going to be marking this based on aesthetics and detail, articulation and durability. So, beginning with aesthetics and detail, I'm giving a 10 out of 10, as Playmates could have easily skimped on the details with this figure with it being a basic release, but instead they've made, in my opinion, a future classic, as there's so many subtle details like the creases on Leo's mask and the muscle details in his arms and legs that really make the figure stand out. Next, for articulation, I'm giving the figure a 7 out of 10, and this is because although the figure has great articulation, it would benefit greatly from those leg hinges being to the side of the legs rather than the front, and because the figure could also really benefit from hinges at the wrists and ankles as well. Then for durability, I'm giving an 8 out of 10, as this is a very solid figure and feels like it'll be able to absorb a lot of knocks and bumps, but I can't guarantee that there won't be any breakages if it's dropped, especially from a large height, or if the joints are bent in the wrong direction or too much force is put in bending them. Next up, we have the accessories, and I'm giving these an overall mark of 8 out of 10, as I think that the selection and amount of accessories, especially for a basic figure release, is great, but in a small niggle, I would have liked the weapons rack and the sprue accessories to have extra paint details, although I have to say I do appreciate that leaving them unpainted is likely both a cost saving measure to keep the RRP low, as this figure is only $10.99, while also being a nod to the unpainted sprue accessories of the vintage figure releases. So tallying all these marks up, I'm giving this Mutant Mayhem Leo a total score of 61 out of a possible 70, which places it on my rating scale as an elite toy and definitely worth your time and money. And so that's it. Thank you so much everyone for watching. Really hope you enjoyed this latest unboxing review. And until the next video, all the best everybody. Bye.